David was 44 years old. He had a good job. He owned a neat, tidy house. His life was stable, predictable, and orderly. Yet something was missing from his days. A quiet echo resonated in the spaces of his home. It was the sound of an unfilled life. He often found himself staring out the window. He watched the world go by, feeling like an observer. He was not truly a part of the vibrant life outside. His routine was always the same. He woke up early. He went to work at the accountancy firm. He came home to an empty house. He would make a simple dinner for one. Then he would read a book or watch television. The evenings were long and silent. Weekends offered little change. Sometimes he visited his sister, or he did chores around the house. He longed for a connection. He yearned for something more, something real. He carried a gentle sadness within him. It was not a loud sorrow. It was more like a soft, persistent hum, a reminder of the warmth he did not have. He saw couples walking hand in hand. He heard laughter from neighboring gardens. One Tuesday morning, David decided to visit a local cafe. It was a small, cozy place he rarely frequented. He ordered his usual black coffee. He found a quiet table by the window. The cafe buzzed with soft chatter and the clinking of cups. He opened his newspaper, preparing for another solitary hour. He did not expect anything to change. His days usually unfolded with such sameness. He was lost in his thoughts, the world outside a blur. Then she walked in. Her name was Ella. She was 23 years old, a student with bright eyes and a backpack slung over her shoulder. She moved with an easy grace. Her laughter was light, like music. She was looking for a place to sit. The cafe was busy. David noticed her searching gaze. He felt a small, unfamiliar nudge, a tiny impulse to do something different. Ella approached his table hesitantly. "Is this seat taken?" she asked. Her voice was soft, yet clear. David looked up, surprised. "No, please," he managed to say, a rare smile touching his lips. She thanked him and sat down, her books making a gentle thud on the table. A moment of comfortable silence passed. Then she accidentally knocked her pen to the floor. They both reached for it. Their hands brushed. A tiny spark. David found himself returning to the cafe. He hoped to see Ella again, and he did. They began to meet regularly, sometimes by chance, sometimes by unspoken agreement. Their conversation started simply. They talked about their favorite books. Ella loved modern poetry. David preferred classic novels. Yet they found common ground. They discussed art and music. They shared dreams and quiet fears. Each word wove a thread between them. Ella brought a lightness to David's world. Her perspective was fresh and full of hope. She saw beauty in everyday things, things David had stopped noticing. He, in turn, offered her a sense of calm, a quiet wisdom gained from his years. He listened to her student worries. He encouraged her artistic pursuits. She told him he was a good listener. He told her she made him see the world anew. Their age difference seemed to fade during their talks. They discovered shared hobbies. Ella loved photography. She captured moments of fleeting beauty. David enjoyed long walks in nature. He knew quiet trails and hidden spots. They started taking walks together. Ella would take pictures. David would point out interesting plants or birds. Section 4. Whispers and Doubts. The Shadow of Difference. As their connection deepened, the age difference became more apparent. Not always to them when they were lost in conversation, but it was there, a fact of their lives. David was acutely aware of it. He was 21 years older than Ella. He worried about what people would think. He worried about her future. He did not want to hold her back. These thoughts cast a shadow over his happiness. He found himself hesitating. Whispers started to follow them. A glance held too long from a stranger. A questioning look from a cafe acquaintance. Ella's friends sometimes made comments. They wondered about her relationship with an older man. David's sister, though kind, expressed her concerns. "Are you sure, David?" she asked gently. "It's a big gap." These words, though well-intentioned, stung. They brought the outside world's judgment into their fragile bubble. It was a heavy weight to carry. Ella, too, faced her own doubts. She was young and full of dreams. She wondered if she was making a mistake. Could a love with such an age difference truly last? Section 5. Finding Strength in Shared Conviction. There were moments when the pressure felt overwhelming. David once suggested they take a break. He said it was for Ella's sake. He didn't want her to face criticism because of him. Ella was heartbroken. She saw the pain in his eyes. She knew he was scared, but she was also scared of losing him. This near separation forced them to confront their feelings head-on. They realized how much they meant to each other. The thought of parting was unbearable for both. They had a long, honest conversation. Tears were shed. Fears were voiced. Ella spoke of how David made her feel, seen, understood, cherished. David confessed how Ella had brought light back into his life, how she made him feel alive again. They talked about the age difference openly. They acknowledged the challenges, but they also spoke of their connection, the deep, undeniable bond that transcended numbers. They decided their love was worth fighting for. Their shared conviction grew. They began to support each other more actively. When a doubting comment came their way, they faced it together. Sometimes with a quiet smile, sometimes with a polite correction. They learned to lean on each other. Section 6. A love deepened, a future embraced. With their renewed commitment, their bond deepened further. The trials they faced had forged a stronger connection. It was a love tested by doubt, and it had emerged more resilient. They spent more time together, not just in cafes or on walks, but sharing everyday life, cooking meals together, visiting museums, meeting each other's close friends who were supportive. Each shared experience was a new thread woven into the tapestry of their love. They started to talk about a future, not in vague terms, but with real plans. Ella was finishing her studies. David thought about his career. They discussed where they might live, how they would build a life together. These conversations were filled with hope and a quiet determination. They knew there would still be challenges, but now they faced them with a shared vision. Their commitment was no longer a fragile thing. It was a solid foundation. Their intimacy grew beyond the physical. It was in the way they understood each other's silences, the way they could anticipate each other's needs. David learned to embrace Ella's spontaneity. Ella learned to appreciate David's thoughtful nature. They complemented each other perfectly. Section 7. New Beginnings, a Timeless Truth. A few years passed. David and Ella built a life together. Their small apartment was filled with warmth. Their love had not faded. It had matured, like fine wine. It was a comfortable, steady presence in their lives. Ella pursued her career in art curation. David found new joy in mentoring young professionals. They supported each other's dreams. They celebrated each other's successes. Their life was not always easy, but it was always real. Slowly, societal acceptance grew. Or perhaps they simply stopped noticing the disapproval. Their genuine happiness was evident to those around them. Friends who had once doubted now saw the strength of their bond. Family members came to appreciate the deep affection they shared. They hosted small dinner parties. Their home was a place of welcome and joy. They proved that love could indeed conquer many obstacles. Their quiet conviction had spoken louder than any doubts. They found joy in simple things. Morning coffee together, evening walks in the park, reading side by side in comfortable silence. Their age difference remained a fact, but it was no longer a barrier. It was simply a part of their unique story. They learned so much from each other.